Hello, race fans. Welcome back to another episode of the NASCAR Show here on The Grueling Truth, where legends speak. I'm Alex Gray, along here with Steve Risley, and we have Michael Klein back in here with us again. Thank you guys for coming on.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thanks for having us.
Always fun to talk NASCAR and auto racing.
Course. Yeah, of course. Now, of course, there was no Cup racing this past weekend, but we got an exciting one for Darlington coming up this weekend. We'll go over the Gander Outdoor Truck Series at Canada and the Xfinity Series at Road America. A couple of fun road course races here. Gander Outdoor Truck Series, Brett Moffitt getting another win. It seems like he's really catching fire. He got the win here. Alex Tagliani was driving the 51 for Kyle Busch. He got second. Ben Rhodes, not a playoff driver, but starting to really show his stuff, finishing third. Sheldon Creed, Austin Hill, Johnny Sauter, Stuart Friesen, Ross Chastain, Tyler Ankrum, and Raphael Lessard rounding out the top 10 for the Truck Series. As of right now, Brett Moffitt, 2 wins in the first 2 races of the Truck playoffs. He is good to go. He is on fire, looking to win his second Truck championship in a row. What are your all's thoughts?
Is Tagliani, is he the one that lost his legs in the IndyCar accident?
No, he was the one who was involved in that, but he's not the one who lost his legs.
Okay, he did not lose his legs. Okay, so but he was involved in that accident.
Yeah, he was the driver who hit the guy, Alex Zanardi.
Okay, Alex Zanardi.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah, Tagliani hit him.
Too many Eenies.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you remember Breaking Away. There'll be no more Eenies in this house. You guys obviously never saw Breaking Away.
Yeah, nope.
Nope. Okay. You guys never saw Breaking Away? Really? Seriously?
Breaking Away.
Yeah, and just to add on to that, I've never even heard of that movie, actually.
Yeah, it's not
really.
Yeah, but this is the first time I've ever heard of it.
It was filmed in Bloomington in 1980 or 1981. I was at college then. It's about it's a bicycle racing movie. Wow. God, I'm old.
Wait, is that the one with Lori Loughlin?
No, I don't think Lori Loughlin was born in 1980.
Ah. Yeah, she was. She was on Full House.
In 1980?
Yeah.
Oh, you guys have not. It had Daniel Stern. Daniel Stern was in it. Who's the? Oh, never mind. My mind's gone blank on it all now. No. Can't believe you guys never saw Breaking Away. That was a classic movie. It was made by the guy that did Hoosiers.
Let me look it up real quick. Breaking Away movie, 1979.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It was being filmed on campus when I was there. Who was the star? Dennis Quaid. Wasn't Dennis Quaid in that movie?
Yeah, I see Dennis Christopher, Dennis Quaid, Daniel Stern, and Jackie Earl Haley. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was filmed
I'm down here.
right.
I'm doing the podcast.
As I was walking to class every day, they were filming that movie. And
it takes place in Bloomington, Indiana. Wow.
Yeah. It was about the Hilly 100, basically. What was the story around it, and it was filmed by. Who's the guy that did Hoosiers? Can't think of his name right now. We've had him on our show before.
Was it?
Anyway, we're off on a tangent. We don't need to get off on too. Let's go back to racing.
All right. But, Alex Tagliani, he raced an open wheel, raced in kart.
Yeah.
For many years, ran in IndyCar, and lately he's ran a lot of NASCAR. He currently runs in the Pine T Series. He has a win this season, too. He's ran all 10 races so far. Having a pretty good season. Looks like he's 14 points. Yeah, he's on and off. He's ran road course races for the Trucks and Xfinity. Yeah, I won't lie. I like to see Tagliani run a Cup race at Watkins Glen or even the Roval or Sonoma. That'd be kind of cool. So, yeah, we're talking about the truck race, NASCAR Xfinity Series at Road America. Christopher Bell, once again, getting it done. Once again, give this man a Cup ride. He's right. Austin Cindric finishing second. Really, Austin Cindric, he's pretty good on road courses. Tyler Reddick, Noah Gragson, Kaz Growler running out the top 5. Rounding out the top 10, Justin Haley, Chase Briscoe, Jeremy Clements. Remember, he won this race a couple years ago. Justin Allgaier, Cole Custer. Matt DiBenedetto, unfortunately, 27th. He was running in second at the last lap, spun out, literally coming to the final line. Had a big shot to win this race, and it just didn't come together for him. So, once again, another tough break for DiBenedetto. He was driving the 18 for Joe Gibbs. He really was fast the entire race. Just, that last caution kind of got to him, and he wasn't able to get it done. And, of course, he ended up spinning out on that last turn. A.J. Allmendinger also ran in this race. He finished 24th. Ryan Vargas drove the 4 for JDM, finishing in 18th. Very good finish for him. How about this? Nicholas Hammond, if I pronounce that right. Let's see. He's a road race team driver. I think he races more for, he won the 2014 U.S. GT Academy television show. He finished 15th driving for Mike Harmon's team. That's incredible. An incredible result for him and Mike Harmon's race team. So
give him a Cup ride.
Yeah. Shout out to Nicholas Hammond, if I got that right. That's what's fun about.
Yeah, there's Jimmy Johnson's replacement right there.
Yes, the road to replace Johnson begins. Here we go. So, all right. So, yeah, we covered that. Of course, as I said before, the Cup Series right now is off. Looking at these cities.
You brought up a lot of interesting things. It was David Anspaugh who did the movie. He directed Breaking Away. Angelo Puzio worked on it with him, and Angelo Puzio did Hoosiers too. I just looked it up. So they're the guys that did Breaking Away. It was their first thing. It was filmed entirely on location in Bloomington. Before we there was no race last week, so we don't really have a lot to cover from last week. And you just went through the other races. Let's dive into silly season now. What do you do with Matt DiBenedetto? What happens to him, Alex or Michael? What happens to him now? I mean, Levine Racing has dumped him, basically, for a young up-and-coming driver. What happens to Matt DiBenedetto?
Well, yeah, it's a tough situation right now. There's only so many rides available. There could be a realistic scenario where he could end up at front row in the 38 since David Reagan is retiring at the end of the year, because I believe he actually went to Joe Gibbs about Xfinity ride or something like that, and Gibbs said, no, all of our rides are currently occupied for 2020. There was about Levine. He does a lot of interaction with fans on Twitter, which is really nice. He did talk about the potential of an LFR Xfinity team. I don't know if that's going to go anywhere or not. Depends how TRD feels. Really, it's a difficult situation because DiBenedetto lately has been providing some pretty good results, nearly winning at Bristol, which would have been just the greatest, one of the biggest Cinderella stories we've had this season next to Justin Haley. DiBenedetto has proven he can drive. He's a great driver. Give him good equipment, he can get it done. He can win. I can guarantee that right now. So the big question is, where does he go? Really, one ride that I see being open to him is most likely the 38 at front row. What do you think, Michael?
I mean, that's honestly what I've always thought too, but of course, at front row, they can only do so much. And of course, he wants to keep himself, in that spot to possibly take one of the bigger rides if they become available. So who knows? Maybe he also goes down and runs some Xfinity races for one of the bigger teams, like, say, maybe a part-time ride with Stuart Haas, something along those lines. So, really, anything he can do to keep his name out there, I think he would take. I mean, just take it from me as a driver. Really, we don't care what series we're running in. We just want to be out there racing. And, yeah, we'd like to be out there racing for wins, too. But, you know, generally, as long as we're racing, we're happy.
Well, and that's the $10 question is, I mean, you're a racer. I mean, is he worthy of being in a good Cup car?
Absolutely. He has proven that this year. And this is something crazy I saw is that after that whole deal at Road America, a lot of people were going on Twitter saying, see, he doesn't deserve a ride. I mean, he made a mistake. You know, we all every racer makes a mistake. And does that take away from all the incredible results he's had this year running for the smaller teams?
Mm-hmm.
I would agree with you. Yeah, I would agree with you. Yeah, and you know, you're looking at equipment that's not quite up to par with the big boys. You know, with the Power Five, whoever they are. You know, the Hendricks,
and he's contending for wins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's still being able to take a lesser car. Why did Levine Family Racing give up on him?
Well, from my understanding, they didn't give up on him. It was the deal with the fact that right now a lot of their backing comes from Toyota. So if they want to keep that funding, they really have to do a lot of what Toyota says. And right now, you know, not take anything away from DiBenedetto, but Bell is an incredible racer too. He's going to go so far. And there's just nothing open at Gibbs right now. So, of course, what they're going to do is they're going to put him with the satellite team until one of those rides becomes available. And right now the only satellite team they have is with the Vine family. And from what I understand, they tried to find the funding for a second team, but they just weren't able to find it. So Toyota eventually said, look, we want to put Bell in this car, so we're sorry, we're going to have to let Matt go.
Yeah.
So it's just a tough deal. It's not really a matter of Levine dumping him or anything. In fact, he's even spoken on Twitter with the fans that he really wanted to keep Matt because he understands the potential he has. There's just nothing he could really do in this situation.
Yeah, there really wasn't a whole lot that Matt could have done. And, you know, talking about what Matt's been capable of doing, you know, Bristol in 2016, he took a BK Racing car and finished fifth, which is absolutely incredible. I mean, yeah, basically TRD, they wanted Bell. They want to keep Bell. They'll do anything it takes to keep somebody like Christopher Bell because he has been lights out since he got into a truck a few years ago. So, yeah, it's tough. And Toyota, as I've said time and time again, they don't have a lot of rides in Cup. They only got technically 5 full-time rides, you know, the 4 Gibbs cars and LFR. You know, so unless you can convince another team to move over or Gaunt Brothers to go full-time, it's a tough situation. And it's going to be a tough situation for all the TRD guys that are also coming up. They're going to come up eventually, you know. Where are all those guys going to go?
All right, so here's a couple of questions. First, number one, TRD has probably won as many, if not more, races than anybody. Yeah, I mean, Chevy's been down. The Camaro is just now coming into its own right now. They're finally getting the aero figured out on that car. They're finally figuring it out, and you're starting to see Hendrick come back in a strong way. TRD, how do they only have 5 or 6 cars in the series when they're probably the biggest car maker in the world? I mean, are they seriously involved in this series? Or are they just trying to buy JGR and say, we're going to sponsor you, we'll build a satellite team, put a developmental driver in for you? Alex or Michael, what's the story with TRD? I mean, you know, Chevy's got 18 cars in running. Ford's got the rest of them, and TRD's got 6 cars. I think that's right. I may be off a little bit, but I think I'm pretty close to being accurate that you know, they have the Ford JGR cars and 2 other cars running that are kind of sidebars to TRD or to JGR. what is their involvement in the sport, and do we need another team, another brand into the sport?
I mean, I think TRD puts more money into NASCAR than Chevy and Ford do. At least that's what it feels like. Toyota really has invested so much in NASCAR. It's incredible.
Well, that's why they're winning. That's why they win.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe there's a strategic plan that they have that, could go through years. Maybe you see a team like GGR Crosley eventually have a Cup team, or maybe, because in Toyota, they had other teams like Michael Waltrip Racing, BK Racing, JTG Daugherty used to be a Toyota team. But now suddenly, there's not a whole lot of Toyota, which, you look at and you think that would change eventually, and I think it will. But more so that I still think that they have more money than Chevy and Ford do, and they put a lot of money into the sport. So it's really hard to say. I think eventually it will change. You will see. Maybe Toyota can convince somebody to move over. There could be something there that we don't know. There may be something that we don't know, and that's also the tricky thing.
Yeah, I just was shocked to hear that there are so few Toyota cars in the series when I thought, but they win everything. I mean, they got Kyle Busch, they've got Hamlin, they've got Truex, they've got the top drivers. So I guess, are they just comfortable with those guys and say, we're just going to keep winning with these cars and these drivers and these cars?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that certainly could be the case. I mean, generally, when you're doing that well in racing, you don't want to change it. So I guess they're worried that if they have more teams, that's going to take their focus away, and those teams they do have are going to fall off. And to take it from me, I would honestly rather own a couple cars that run well than a bunch of cars that run, say, mid-pack.
Yeah, because when you have a four-car team, you're thinning out your resources more. I mean, back then, Roush ran 5 cars. A couple races, they ran 6 for Todd Cooper. But
one of them was a Viagra car. I mean, we sponsored it for 5 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
when you have 4 cars, you're thinning out your resources, and it's hard for, it's possible for all 4 to do really well, but it's just harder. So, I mean, you look at Penske, they ran 2 or 3 cars. They run 2 or 3 cars. Roush has been down to 2 cars, and they're looking better. So, I mean, yeah, we have more cars, you thin out your resources more.
This is actually something that I saw earlier on NASCAR on NBC. I think it was some sort of poll they were sitting around. I guess there's talk about possibly bringing back the 5-car rule. So, just curious about what you guys think of that.
Yeah, you know what? I don't think it's a bad idea, especially with so many drivers wanting rides and stuff, and how competitive for rides it is these days. If the super teams like Gibbs and Hendrick, if they can afford a 5th car, let them. Even though you're thinning out those resources, if you have the funding and sponsorship, Gibbs could put Christopher Bell on the 5th car, and Hendrick could put whoever in a 5th car, maybe eventually Noah Gragson or something. But, personally, I actually don't have a problem with that. The reason they got rid of the 5-car rule was because of the recession back in 2009. NASCAR was trying to cut back, save money, whatever else they could do. So there was like, okay, can't have 5 full-time cars anymore. Since then, I know Roush kind of had that grandfathered in. I know Hendrick ran a 5th car for Chase Elliott back in 2015 for a few races. But, yeah, overall, I wouldn't mind it if the teams have the funding.
Okay. Now you
and also, just to throw this out there,
this whole deal
Go
about
ahead.
associate teams. I mean, even like what Matt's doing, he's the associate team of JGR, basically, isn't he? I mean, they're providing him equipment. Yeah. So is that just a way to get around that ticket? And I miss the fact that we always had 43 cars in the field.
Yeah.
I'm old enough to remember that.
That it's a fuller field now if you have teams that are allowed to field more cars.
Yeah, I would be all open to letting them just say, look, if you want to run 5 cars, run 5 cars. If you can afford it, do it. And I don't think Joe Gibbs. I've seen his mobile home. He's not hurting. He's doing fine.
Mm-hmm.
So he can afford to run another car. I would think Tony Stewart can afford to run another car. I would think Mr. Hendrick can afford to run another car. If we get the field filled up and get more people on, more cars onto the track, it makes for better racing, I think. Or does it? Or does it not? Does it just put more people in the way and create more accidents on the track?
Well, if you talk about those higher-up teams, then, that's creating a lot more competition because those are cars that can be running up front. And if you're talking about the smaller teams that can barely compete, I don't think they're going to be able to afford to really move up in terms of their equipment anyway. So, really, I think this would cause more good than harm when it comes to the competition aspect of it.
Yeah, I agree. I think it'll really increase the competition if you allow teams like Stewart, Haas, Hendrick, and Gibbs to run a 5th car. There's more cars out on the track because sometimes seeing 36 cars entered in a cup race is a little depressing in my opinion. So I'd like to see 40
very
plus
depressing.
Cars. What's that?
It's very depressing in my opinion.
Yeah.
I agree too. We're all on the same page here, no doubt.
Yeah.
I don't like seeing 36 cars on a track. I mean, it's like, I remember 43. It was always 43 cars started every race. Especially
for the Daytona 500. Like, when I was a kid, I think almost 60 cars attempted the Daytona 500.
Yeah, well,
I kind of miss seeing all the different one-offs, seeing, like, the different stories and, like, who can make the Daytona 500.
Yeah, I remember the 07 duels where I think it was 60-something that attempted. So it was like 18 that had to go home.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that's just crazy. Back in the 80s.
Guys, I remember the Indy 500 when there were 100 cars trying to qualify.
Yeah.
I mean, there were 100, and that may be an exaggeration to some degree, but there were multiply more than 33 cars trying to qualify that race. And, the happy hour, the last day of qualifying, got real interesting because you got Foyt trying to sell a car, or someone wanted to buy a car from Foyt, or you got Penske selling a car or buying a car. You got all this horse trading going on, and that part of the sport has gone away. Because now, let's talk a little bit, if we can, just for a second, because like I said, we didn't have a race last weekend, so we don't have to go back over that. We're going to talk about Darlington and earning your stripes here in a second. This charter thing is the charter thing a good deal? Is that a good deal for NASCAR to where you buy a charter, you buy this thing, and you're guaranteed a starting spot no matter how bad you are?
I honestly can't stand the charter system. I would love nothing more than to see it just be completely abolished. I'm sorry, but I just can't stand it. And, honestly, just to go a step further, I also don't really want to see the top 35 rule come back. I like to see it go back to when, look, you come to the track and you need to qualify no matter who you are, and if you don't, I'm sorry, you're not racing.
Right. And they would use you would have a certain amount of provisionals that you could use once they're up.
Yeah. And you earn your provisionals based on winning races or qualifying or scoring points.
Yeah. I mean, like say you're qualified for the playoffs, that's a provisional if you ask me.
Yeah. And so you're qualified. You got to qualify yourself in. But I remember a year. I don't remember, it was sometime in the 80s when all 3 Penske cars in the Indy 500 failed to qualify. None of them got in. It was Fittipaldi, Jill DeFerrin, and I don't know who
I remember seeing that.
All three of them did not qualify, and Penske had no car in the Indy 500.
Yeah, the crazy thing is that I think Unser and Fittipaldi were the two defending winners of that race.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And they didn't. None of the three cars qualified. They just got it wrong that year, and none of them made it.
Yeah,
so
and I mean, just to put that in perspective, that would be like Will Power and Pagano failing to make it this next year. So if you fans could just imagine that.
Yeah, I mean,
that's basically what happened.
Look at this year's Indy 500. You had Fernando Alonso, worldwide famous F1 driver, driving for one of the biggest companies in the world, McLaren, and
can't qualify.
Well, to qualify, he got beat out by one of the smaller teams, which they put their butts up.
He got beat out by Pippa Mann. Come on, give me a break. Pippa Mann qualified for the race.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I don't think many people give her enough credit. I really think she's a good racer. She just has never been with a great team.
I agree with you 100%. I'd love to see her in some good equipment. I would love to see her in some good equipment.
Yeah, but honestly, I love seeing her in a Clausen Marshall car. Just because from my dirt background, because they're a dirt midget team, that was just so cool to see for me.
Yeah, but this whole tag of this, like, taxi driver, New York City, have a stamp on your car, you're automatically qualified, and you get in no matter what you do. I don't think that's good for the sport.
Yeah, it's like we talk about all these cars that used to attempt to race. In the inaugural Brickyard 400, 1994, I believe 86 cars qualified for that race. 86. That is crazy.
86 cars attempted to qualify for the race.
Yep.
Yeah, and they started 43. I'm sure they started 43.
Yeah.
That was the day of 43.
Yeah, and out of all of them, Rick Mast was the fastest. So that was pretty crazy.
Rick Mast, yeah.
Yeah. Was he driving an Earnhardt car?
Nope, he was running that one car, that number one Skull Bandit car.
It was a Skull Bandit, wasn't a Pennzoil car at that point in time?
Yeah, it was owned by Richard Jackson at the time. This was before DEI came along.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I was at that race. I mean, we were there. I mean, we sat, we were at that race. And, Gordon ends up winning it.
Yep.
And, it was, but, yeah. So, yeah, the competition to get into the race needs to be stronger, I think, for the Cup cars and things like that. Now, instead of this automatic, like, you buy this certificate, you pay us umpteen $1 million, whatever it costs to do. I don't have any idea what those things sell for. But then you're automatically in the race, whether you can get your car up to speed or not, you have a starting spot. I'm not sure I like that at all. I think it takes away from the competition of racing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, okay. Let's talk silly season real quick before we get into Darlington.
All righty.
Who's safe and who's not safe? I mean, let's start with Clint Boyer. Is Clint Boyer safe?
Hard to say. Some people have suggested that he will be back. Some people suggest that. Even some people have thought, Clint Boyer's going to go to the 38 at front row. So, I don't know. I think Cole Custer is pretty much ready for Cup. I've said that with Tyler Reddick and Christopher Bell. I think if those three go up to Cup next year, you're going to have a really, really good rookie class. I know that Stuart Haas has talked to Go Fast Racing about a potential technical alliance, but they kind of want to keep Corey LaJoie there too. So there's a little bit of a twist there. Because Cole Custer ran some Cup races last year for Rick Ware in the 51. I don't know if that's a possibility as well, but, you look at a guy like Custer, where does he go? So, and going back to Boyer,
and Michael, do you stay with a bank like a Clint Boyer, who's a proven commodity, or do you take a chance on a Cole Custer? What if you're a car owner and you're a driver, you're involved in the sport? What do you do? Do you stay with a Clint Boyer, or do you take a chance on a Cole Custer?
Well, I mean, obviously, if we're talking about a more general sense, then it will just kind of depend on the situation. But I feel like Clinton Boyer still has a lot left in him.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I honestly like to stay with Clint, really. But I also would like to see some sort of alliance between another team and Stuart Haas to put Cole Custer in a Cup car, because he's definitely ready. At the same time, I don't want to see Corey LaJoie out of a ride, too. He's got a ton of talent. He's a super cool guy.
Oh, yeah.
So, honestly, the way I see it, if Tony wants to put Cole in a Cup car so badly, they can get into their own pockets or find that sponsorship, and they can fund that for Go Fast if they really want to do that so badly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, then, Michael, what do you do with Jimmy Johnson? I mean,
Jimmy
here's
Johnson,
a guy. He's a seven-time champion. I mean, he's one of the 3 drivers who've won 7 championships. He's one of the greatest drivers in the history of NASCAR. What do you do with him now? Because he's really, truly not competitive right now. I mean, he's got the best equipment. I mean, Hendrick builds great cars. Let's just admit that. I mean, Chase Elliott's winning. Bowman's winning. Byron is ready to win. And somehow Johnson seems to find trouble every time he gets on the track. What do you do with Jimmy Johnson right now?
Well, Jimmy Johnson,
retire? You encourage him to retire? I mean, they've already separated the team of Canals and him. You've already broken that team up, which is one of the winningest combinations of all time, with Inman and Petty. Was it Inman and Petty? Was Inman was Petty? Was he Petty's crew chief?
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's the next best one. And what do you do with Jimmy Johnson right now?
Jimmy Johnson, I would give him at least one more season.
Don't talk about it, because you're the one who's going to get in pit lane and get bitched at. I'm not going to get bitched at, so I don't care.
The way I see it, every driver has their slumps. So who knows if Johnson's just in one of those, or if he's just truly not the driver he was.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what it is. I'd give him at least one more season.
Mm-hmm.
And if he isn't improving, then maybe we go look at a different route. But I certainly would never tell him to retire. It would just be, if I was his team owner, it would just be, look, I'm going to have to go and look in the best interest of my team, but you're free to look elsewhere. But I certainly would never tell him to retire. It's not like what Kyle Busch is trying to do with Todd Gilliland right now. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Johnson's still a cash cow. I mean, Ally is sponsoring him all season long.
Yeah, I mean, from a marketing standpoint, it certainly makes sense to keep him, just because he's still a 7-time champion. He's undoubtedly the most successful driver of this generation.
Yep.
So
yeah, I think he and Hamlin are only 2 that have consistent year sponsors, aren't they? They're the only 2 that I know of that have the same name on their hood of the car every week. FedEx and Ally.
Yeah,
and he had Lowe's so many years. So he's a cash cow to Hendrick. Mm-hmm. So, but you're holding up a spot. Michael, what makes a driver fall off? I mean, you got power steering. You got brakes. You got great equipment. What makes a driver not be competitive anymore? Is it just nerves and age? And I can only ask you this because Alex and I have never driven a car like that. What makes you fall off as a driver like Jimmy Johnson has seemed to have fallen off?
Well, it certainly could be like a combination of, everything. Age definitely can play into it because it's a very physical sport. And, of course, as we know, as you age, obviously your body becomes less able to do these tough tasks, including driving a race car. And, Johnson's starting to get up there in years. At the same time, he's also one of the most active drivers out there. So, honestly, I do question that part of it being true. So that also kind of leaves, his mentality for it.
He runs
last year he had a rough year. Yeah.
He runs a marathon. He's probably one of the most physically fit drivers in NASCAR.
Yeah, he ran.
I would say he is the most physically fit driver in the garage.
Yeah, I mean, every week you hear about him running he gets drivers trying to follow him on his bike when he's riding around the track for 100 laps on his bike, and and that's an exaggeration to some degree, but he runs triathlons, he runs marathons, he's incredibly fit, he's astute, but what makes a driver just kind of fall off? Is it just I've won enough, I don't want to compete that much anymore, or what is it for you guys that are drivers that sometimes you say enough is enough? Or does that happen? Or does that even happen?
It just kind of depends really on who you're talking to. I'm sure for some guys it happens, which it could be happening for Jimmy because he's got a family now. So I don't know if he wants to focus as much on the driving as he does on his family. But, I know some people who drive their whole lives and they never lose their passion for it. So, like I said, I can't tell for sure what it is that's causing Jimmy to kind of fall off because, I don't know him. I don't know his mentality. But I can definitely say that, I wouldn't say he's very safe as far as a seat is concerned if Hendrick decides they need to put performance over, their sponsors. Which that's probably not going to happen because it's such a financially driven sport.
And my comparison is like, I can understand Tiger Woods. He's 44 now, or 43 or 44. I think he's going to be 44 at the end of December. And physically, to walk a golf course like that with he's had knee surgery done this week. He had his fifth knee operation done this week. I see that, but you strap yourself into a car. You have all the accessories around you that you need, and I don't get how you just fall off. I mean, that far off to where really he's not even really competitive anymore.
Yeah, it's certainly a mystery,
He's
really
but
not.
He's really not competitive. I mean, he can run up front for a while, but then he finds ways to mess himself up. Almost every single race, and I'm rooting for the 48 car. He's a throwback to me. Hell, my wife sat with him and Jeff Gordon's wife at the Brickyard 400 one year in the Pagoda, watching the entire race with him. And that doesn't mean anything either. So, but I got to meet him a couple times. He's a quality person. He's a great spokesman. He has a great sponsor. So I just wondered what it does when you kind of fall off like that, like he's fallen off. Is he going to win again?
I'd certainly like to think so. I feel like he'll probably get at least one more before his career's over. That may be thinking optimistically, but, I could definitely see him getting a few more.
I still think Johnson can get a win. I mean, you can make the argument, back to the Coke 0400, if that race had not ended the way it did, Johnson probably could have won that race. I still think personally Johnson can get a win. I still see those flashes in him. It's really hard to say why he's not as competitive as he used to be, but I still think he can get a win.
Okay. All right. And I hope you're right. I mean, like I said, he's good for the sport. He's the modern age hero. You know,
Right.
I mean, he's the modern age hero of the sport. 7 championships, tied with Earnhardt and Petty. You know, so okay, let's go to the playoffs before we get talk about Michael's situation, what Michael's doing after that. We get to the playoffs. Where are we going, Alex? Who's going to make it? And let's all start talking about who's going to make it or not. You got Eric Jones at 14th, Suarez at 16th. Boyer is out of the picture right now. Johnson's 2 spots out of the picture. Menard has been running strong. And you've got Chris Buescher. Where do we go from here? Where does this all look? What does this look like to you, Alex?
It is a tight race. You look between 15th and 18th. It's constantly changed almost every race.
Yeah.
I have a feeling Newman can get in. He's really brought a good veteran presence to Roush Findlay Racing. Excuse me. Looking at this, Suarez, he's going to have to finish real well. He has been as of late. He's been producing good finishes. If he can do that in the final 2 races, it's a good possibility he can get that last spot. Clint Boyer, 17th. He's only 2 points out of the cut line. So once again, one good finish or heck, even a win would bump him on in. And then, of course, you got Johnson, who's about, I want to say, 30-some-odd points back, who, he's got a lot of ground to make up. Only 2 races left, Darlington and Indy. That's it. So in terms of who I think gets in, I really, really would hate to say that Johnson is not going to get in, but there is that potential. As of right now, I think Suarez could get that final spot just by the way he's been racing it. So Michael, you're a driver. Who's looking at these last 2 tracks? Darlington, earn your Darlington stripes. The track too tough to tame. We've heard all the stories about Darlington. And then you got Indy, which is a goofball in its own right. Who are the drivers in this grouping down here that are most qualified to do well on these tracks? Do you have any idea?
Yes, I do, and here's actually the good news is that it's Jimmy, really. He's got 4 wins at Indy. I think he's got 4 wins at Darlington. I'm not sure on that, but he's really good at both of these tracks. So for the situation he's in, he's probably going to the 2 best tracks he could be going to close out the playoffs. These next 2, they're his only shot to get in, but they're also probably his best shot to get in.
Yeah, it's definitely his best shot. These are definitely, 2 tracks he's really good at.
So the situation favors him right now. Who does it hurt? Newman's a gritty driver. I mean, he runs hard everywhere. I mean, he just races you hard. He's like Tony Stewart. To me, Ryan Newman is as close to Tony Stewart as I've ever seen. And, Tony would just race you hard. I'll race you fair, I'll race you hard. Boyer, I think he's a little bit on the hot seat right now. I think he's feeling, and as a driver, Michael, how often do you drive to win or drive not to lose?
Well, I mean, for me, it's the same every race. I'm out there right now I'm trying to learn, but generally I have the mindset that you always need to go for that win because that's just the racer mentality, I think. So even if you don't have the sort of format of you win, you're in, I think that's still the sort of mentality drivers have every single week, is that you got to go out there and win.
All right, so are you willing to take the Takuma Sato move and jump in front of everybody and create the wreck they created at the IndyCar race, and because you're trying to win the race? He just was trying to win the race. He just wanted to get up front. Now, the first race of 500 laps, it was a little silly at that point in time. But, I mean, do you drive that way, or do you say, I'm just going to sit back here, relax, and enjoy the ride, and then I'll come back and run the race in the last 40 laps of the race? What's the driver's mentality?
Well, with what I've been racing lately is that, I don't have that choice. I run midgets, and those are 25, 30-lap features. So, really, you got to go for it each lap.
Right.
Now, certainly you need to watch it early on because, you can't win a race on the first lap, but you can certainly lose it.
Lose one, yeah.
At the same time, you also can't really play it safe because if you play it safe, you completely eliminate your shot to win.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Very good. So, let's go to Darlington. Alex, what do we got? Who's the favorite here?
First off, look at all the beautiful throwbacks.
Oh yeah, let's go to the throwbacks because they are beautiful.
Oh yeah, Jimmy Johnson.
This has become a fun thing. It's become a fun thing for Darlington to do this.
Oh yeah, it's super fun. I love seeing them all out on the track. You got first off Dale Jr. He's running the Xfinity race as of right now. He's still planning on.
Is he going to run? Is he going to run?
Yep. He says that he hopes he doesn't have to use, quote, Plan B. Obviously, he had pain in his back and everything. Hopefully, he's healed up from everything that's happened, and he'll be able to run that race and get to drive that 8 throwback to his dad. It's a really special paint scheme there. Jimmy Johnson, he's driving a throwback to one of his old, what are they called? Baja dirt trucks or something like that?
Trophy truck.
He run the trucks out here in California forever.
Yeah, because his 2 brothers do that, Jesse Johnson. So really slick paint scheme. It was actually leaked by Noah Gragson on Twitter like weeks ago because he was showing off diecast, and off in the corner there was this one car. Like, what's this? But anyway, gosh, yeah, you all have to check in on this race, especially you older fans. You'll get a good taste of the past. It's 19 this time around. Joey Logano. His is kind of comical because he's throwing back to Kevin Harvick's 2007 Shell Pennzoil paint scheme. So I don't know why. I found that a little comical just because, a champion's throwing back to another fellow champion. So, it's going to be a fun weekend. Going into Darlington, if I were to pick some favorites.
Let's go through the cars. Okay, let's just go through the cars real quick.
Larson released his morning, and I absolutely love it.
Castle's running kind of a throwback to Sterling Marlin's Coors car, isn't he?
Yes. Love it.
Man. It's the same colors. Awesome. It's the same colors. It's a different sponsor, but still it's the same colors as the Coors car. Then you go down to Kurt Busch. He's running a throwback to a 69 Corvette, or a Camaro, I'm sorry. He's running that. Earnhardt, Dylan's running the old Earnhardt car, the first one that Richard Childress raced in, which is cool. You got Ryan Newman running the Oscar Wienermobile.
Yes.
Which he'll probably win. Then Hammer is running the old 8 car, the Richard Childress colors. Elliott, nothing really significant there. I think what's cool is Hamlin's running a throwback to Waltrip's car. Have you seen that one?
Yeah, Michael Waltrip's car.
Yeah, that's Darrell Waltrip's car, isn't it?
No.
Yeah. He's running the.
He's running the 11 car, and I'm looking at the picture right now, and he's running it right back to. From what the picture they're showing it looks like Darrell Waltrip's car.
Yeah, the Western Auto car.
The Western Auto car, exactly.
I'm so pumped to see that. That's honestly always been one of my favorite paint schemes.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. But isn't that when they kind of outlawed the chrome wheels? Because he ran chrome wheels, didn't he? And they kind of blocked that out.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because he had the chrome wheels that shined on people's guys, and I think that was the last time they were allowed to run chrome wheels. was when Waltrip was doing it in that day. Bush has nothing significant. Truex, nothing significant. Paul Menard and the Wood Brothers. See, I would have thought they'd have gone back to the Purolator Ford one and run the colors of David Pearson's car. I'd have thought they'd have done that. Shell car. I love the 24 car. It's right out of Days of Thunder.
Yeah, that one's really cool. The City Chevrolet car, the Culture Big Road. I love that.
City Chevrolet, yeah.
This seriously may be the best year that this throwback weekend has ever come out with.
Oh, yeah. I agree.
Yeah, and I mean, have you seen?
It's a great thing they do. I think it's a great thing they do.
Yeah, and I mean, have you guys seen Larson's car released this morning?
No, where was Larson's car?
Yeah, the throwback to the Ricky Craven Kodiak.
Yeah, throwing back to Craven. I like that.
Yeah, I like that car too.
Yeah. Somebody's running the Pennzoil car too that Michael Park ran, didn't he?
What's that?
Steve Park. Steve Park ran the the number one car for. Somebody's going back to the Pennzoil car.
Yeah, Logano did that scheme last year. He threw back to
Logano did that scheme last year? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
He's not doing it this year.
Not this year. The Pennzoil throwbacks to Michael Waltrip. One I really like is Bubba Wallace's throwback to Adam Petty's street car.
Oh, my God, yes.
Yeah, that's really cool. Really a touching tribute to Adam, a guy we lost way too soon.
Yeah, I got into a pretty big Twitter battle over that car, actually, just a few weeks ago. Yeah. I don't know if you know him, but there's this YouTuber named Michael Marutz.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and he had been on the NASCAR Weekly podcast with Black Lives Matter and actually said that was the ugliest car he had ever seen. At that point, everybody just lost it on him.
Oh,
and,
God, yeah. Why
so,
would you
yeah.
say that?
Then I go into Twitter and I post the original car. And I was like, "You still want to call this ugly?" And he took it back. So hey, that's good. And I was like, "Good." I thought we were gonna have to throw hands for a second, because I will fight somebody over that car.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to get on the
I will tell you guys offline. I'm not gonna talk about it online because it's private. But I have a story about Kenny Irwin, who I had a relationship with in a slight way. But his girlfriend was working for me when I was a manager at Pfizer. And I'll tell you a story about that. But I'm not going to do it online out of respect for privacy to her and to the Irwin family. But I'll tell you offline about it.
Okay,
absolutely.
Ask me about it, yeah. That was a very tough day when he passed away. So, okay. So who do we got? Who's the favorite here at Darlington?
Okay. So looking at the favorites, I would say from recent memory, Denny Hamlin, Truex, Keselowski, Logano, usual suspects. Anyone else, obviously Johnson could be a sleeper because, again, he has had a good history here. Those would be a few guys that I would list as favorites to win this race.
Okay. Michael,
definitely hard to go.
I'll let you go last, Michael. I like Harvick in this one. This is his track. I mean, this is a track made for his mentality. I just think that I like Logano. Logano is a sneaky little shit like Niedermeyer, to paraphrase Animal House. And he could pull it off, but Harvick is a guy who can pull this thing off and do well. Truex is hot, and Hamlin's obviously hot. I don't think the Camaros will do well on this track. I don't think they're aero ready yet for these kinds of tracks. And, they'll be better suited in Indianapolis. But I like Harvick. What do you got, Michael?
I mean, it's definitely hard to go against Hamlin, just how he's been doing lately.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And, given his history with Darlington, dark horse, I'd probably have to go with Larson. Kind of like I do every week.
Why is everybody so high on Larson? I mean, when's the last time that guy won anything?
Hey, hold on a second. Just hold on a second. Yeah, it's been a while since he's won, okay? But he still has potential behind the wheel. He can wheel that car anywhere. Anyone else is not willing to go.
As long as there's a high groove. If there's a high groove, he can run in it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he can run the bottom.
I don't know if I've ever seen Larson run on the bottom.
Well, he runs it if that's the only place he has to go.
And that's why he goes
he's
slow.
one of those racers who will go wherever he needs to go.
Yeah, I'm not that sold on Larson. Yeah, I compare him to Elliott, and I think Elliott's a better driver. He's more steady in his car. He keeps his car clean. He stays out of people's hair, and he outdrives you when he has to. Larson pushes it too hard, stays on the high groove all the time, and if he can run fast up there, he'll run fast up there, and he'll be fine. But he can't move the groove down to get to the lower lanes. Or I've not seen him. Maybe you got, and again, Michael, you're a racer, so you know better than me. Have you seen him drive that hard down on the bottom groove? Or every time I see him, he's up on the top groove?
Yeah, I've seen him go down. He obviously likes the top, because honestly, that's also where you can get the best run exiting the turn, just because you're carrying so much more momentum. So really, if it's a track where you can do that, that's really where you want to be. And it also just depends on how your car's doing. And of course, I think they have it set up so he can run the top, but he's also shown he's able to get to the bottom. I've seen him get past while running the top, and then he changes his line to the bottom, and he gets it right back. And they'll go back and forth for a little bit, but he's shown he's able to do it.
Okay. All right. Like I said, I don't see it. I see him as just a high groove driver, and when he gets on tracks, they're sharply banked. I don't think that he has a chance to win at Indy. That track's not banked enough for him. And there's only one groove at Indy.
Well, just remember, he won at Richmond a couple years ago, and, if you're running the high line there, I'm sorry, but you've got to be the worst driver of all time or just have the tightest car of all time.
Yeah, I mean, he had that what felt like a breakout year in 2017 with the 4 wins. And since then, he won the All-Star race this year, but that's not a points race. I still think Larson can win. I still think he'll win races. He's just got to click,
Yeah. All right, well.
Yeah, he's got a great career ahead of him,
Put a win on the board this year and show me. Show me the money, as Tom Cruise would say.
Oh, yeah.
Show me the money.
Mr. Cole Trickle.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Dropping the hammer.
Yeah, we got 4 perfectly set match tires on your car right now. What?
What?
When I want you to go out there, I want you to go hit the pace car. Why? Because you've hit every damn thing on us on the track. I want you to be perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly, yeah.
How about that? Something we don't have to fix.
Yeah. Okay, so, Michael, what have you got going on now? What can we do? Tell us what you're doing the next 2 weeks.
Oh, man. Next couple weeks are going to be some of the busiest, really, of my life. So this weekend we're going to run with the Badger Series at Sycamore, weather permitting. And then Tuesday I'm heading up to Indy for the BC39 where I'm making my USAC debut. So I'll be running Wednesday and Thursday at the dirt track at Indy inside Turn 3.
Is that the fairgrounds?
No, it's actually inside the Indianapolis Motor Speedway now. It's right inside turn 3.
Moved it there, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, until turn 3.
Yeah, so it's definitely going to be a fun one. We're officially entered, and we've got the funding all together, so that's happening. And, then we have the ARCA deal we're going to start working on. We're still looking for some sponsorship for Salem and Indy. And talk with a couple companies. We might have something. I'm still not going to get my hopes up about it. But, if this all is according to plan, hopefully we're running the rest of the ARCA season.
Okay.
All right. Do they still run the Hoosier 100 in Indy at the fairgrounds?
No, they're bulldozing the track this year, I think.
Are they tearing it down?
Yeah.
Wow. I saw Alan Jackson there 5 times.
Yeah, it's a damn shame, but, racing seems to kind of be a very low priority to most people, so.
So they don't do the horse racing there either anymore?
Nope.
Because that was a big Saluki. They had all the jockeys and the Salukis and all the carriages, and they did horse racing there. They don't do that anymore there either?
As far as I know, they don't.
Yeah, well, I've lived in Indy for 3 years, so I don't know what they're doing there. But the Hoosier 100, it was A.J. Foyt's race, basically. He put that race, he sponsored that race and put it on and paid for it.
Oh, yeah.
For the most part. But, so that's gone away. That's too bad. Grassroots racing is important to the sport. It needs to keep going in a huge way. You need to keep developing drivers.
That's why I like what NASCAR's been doing with their whole grassroots project, just trying to help promote these smaller tracks.
Yeah, with the K&N series and things like that.
Yeah, and especially now with, Grassroots America, where they're sending out that, plaque to all the dirt tracks and encouraging fans to use hashtag #MyTracksMyRoots.
Yeah.
Yeah, NASCAR's, they've really been pushing for that, and I think that's more important than ever.
Repeat that? I'm sorry. You cut out on us.
Oh, my apologies. Yeah, I think the grassroots racing is more important than ever, and they've been really pushing that. Obviously, that's probably one thing that I've been missing is going to that local short track. I know that in our area, Michael, there's Florence Motor Speedway down the highway.
Yeah. Yeah, they actually had a free night this past weekend. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Honestly, my favorite grassroots place to go around here is Lawrenceburg. Just because of course, I'm more of an open wheel type guy, and Florence is more, late models. It's, nothing against Florence. I still love going there. But, for me, Lawrenceburg, it's just a place I feel more at home, really. And, it's also just all the people you meet at these places, too.
Mm-hmm. Here's my experience with speed, Michael. I had a 1972 Hurst Olds 442 with a rocket V8 455 W30 package. At 5 o'clock in the morning one day when I was going to work, I got it up to 155 miles an hour. It was a convertible.
Wow.
And the top started flapping up, so I had to back it off because I didn't put the skirt on. I didn't think I was driving down just a street, and it was like 5 o'clock when I'm going to Detroit Diesel Allison's to work. And I had this sucker racked up. This engine was incredible. And it's like that scared the living snot out of me because to touch the steering wheel at that speed, it's so sensitive, and you know this 100 times better than I do. But to touch that steering wheel at that speed and to even flinch it, that car moves at that speed. And I was on a straight road, no police, nobody. I just said I'm just going to hit it and go. see what it'll do. And I got rid of the car 3 days later. I just said, that's it. I'm done with this car because I'm going to kill myself in this car. Because it was kind of fun. It was very scary. And it's like it was incredibly fast. So that was it. So what you do is just, I admire your courage to get in there and do that. So, Alex, do you have that kind of courage? I don't have that kind of courage, Alex.
Oh, man. Depends, because like I was never a fan of roller coasters, but I sure wouldn't mind stepping into a stock car.
Well, stock car, you got fenders. I mean, you're okay there. You got roll cages and fenders.
True that.
Yeah, I would say the scariest moment in sports, in my opinion, is the flying start in Indianapolis with 33 idiots diving into turn one, open wheel, and trying to all find one or two grooves as best they can and not kill each other. And how all you do is you sit there and you say, just get everybody through turn one and turn two. And then they'll stretch it out a little bit. Then they'll spread it out. But it's, Michael, what you do is just amazing. So, you got to have cojones to do what you do.
Yeah, it's definitely not for, the faint of heart to do it.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that. I mean, for me, I've never found it too bad. Obviously you have your previous nerves, but I just love it so much that I honestly don't even see much fear in it anymore. Of course, before my first race, I was scared to death, hopping in it. But as soon as you get it going, at that point, you just get hooked on it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm sure it's adrenaline. I'm sure it's just an adrenaline rush. And once you get into it, it just, you just focus on what you're doing, not on what can go wrong. You're focused on what you're doing. And you're counting everybody else to be focused on what they're doing too. And, that's where Joey Logano comes into the picture. All right. Let's, Alex, anything else we need to talk about today?
Couple things.
Okay, go.
All right. First off, bit racing related. If you know who Jesse Combs is, unfortunate news. The professional driver, former Mythbusters host, passed away Tuesday in a jet car crash while attempting to break a land speed record in Oregon. Jesse Combs.
Oh, she was on Mythbusters?
Yeah. I remember watching it when I was younger.
Oh, wow. I'd not heard that.
Oh, it's her. Oh, man.
That's awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In all sincerity, that's awful. Yeah. I had not heard that yet. So.
Yeah, many people call her the fastest woman on four wheels. And our thoughts and prayers go out to Jesse Combs' family and friends at this summer.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and,
agreed.
Definitely. And in other news, Adam Stern just posted this. Homestead Miami will turn part of its infield into a mini beach as an option for this year's NASCAR's championship race day. Homestead Miami Speedway has a 7-acre infield lake. It'll bring in 750,000 pounds of sand, floating dock, palm trees, music, food, drink. Tickets start at only $40.
And there may be a hurricane.
Oh, yes. I may be going down there, too. So, hey, that's going to be awesome.
I'm kind of tempted.
And there may be a hurricane.
Hopefully not.
There's one heading there.
That's around the time hurricane season ends, so hopefully it's not much of an issue.
Hey, I'm sorry, I don't want to interrupt, Alex. Are you done?
Yeah, go ahead.
Who's the next female driver in NASCAR?
The next big one?
You mean in Cup?
In Cup, yeah. Who's the next one that drives? I mean, we had Danica. And you got Decker and Deegan. Is there anybody else that can drive at that level, or is it not even responsible to think they can drive at that level? And I hope they can. I mean, like I said, the car's got power steering. It's turning left for the most part. But who's the next female driver in NASCAR?
I would say
nobody wants to touch that one.
I mean, Allie Decker, he's been struggling real bad. And as I said before, I think a lot of people point to Haley Deegan. She could be the next big deal in the sport.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you on that.
Yeah, I agree too. I agree too. Yeah. So, I just want to throw that out there. I'm done. Michael, what do you got? Good luck this weekend.
Thanks.
Good luck next weekend. Have fun with it. Race hard. Give us some results. Can we mic you up for the race? Is there any way we can do that?
That would be cool.
There might be
a few F-bombs.
Yeah, if you're talking about a recorder or something like that, yeah. I could just put one in my suit probably, but
just tell us
or in my helmet.
Tell us stories next week. You're back on next week, right?
Yeah. Well, no, because like I said, I'm going to be at Indy.
Yeah. Indy.
For that.
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to be at Indy. That's right. Yeah. So you're.
Yeah.
We'll report live from Indy.
Well, I mean, yeah, I could probably do that. I mean, I'll be on as long as I usually am, but
I mean, I can get you a table at St. Elmo's. You don't even know what St. Elmo's is, do you?
It's that movie, right?
No, it's a steakhouse. It's one of the most famous steakhouses in the country.
Yeah, I remember the movie St. Elmo's Fire.
Yeah, with Rob Lowe. Yeah. My claim to fame in all of this was I sat at a table one night at St. Elmo's and was drinking the same bottle of wine that Dale Earnhardt Sr. was sitting at the table next to me drinking the same bottle of wine. That's my claim.
Really?
Yeah, more than winning a national championship at Indiana University. Earnhardt was right next to me in his black jeans and his white shirt.
And
with the exact same bottle of Silver Oak, same bottle of Silver Oak wine, exact same bottle. And I ordered mine first. It was like the night before the Brickyard, 2 nights before the Brickyard. It was the Brickyard weekend. I don't think it was the night before because I doubted he'd be drinking wine the night before the race. So, but have a good time.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'll definitely have to look that place up, maybe try it out.
Oh, good. Oh, no, do the shrimp cocktail. Just walk in and say, you want a shrimp cocktail. It'll kill you. I actually had their shrimp cocktail sauce shipped out here to California to me.
Oh, nice.
Really?
Oh, no. Be careful. Don't eat a lot of it. It will blow you away. It's all horseradish.
Oh.
Whatever. All right. Alex, what else we got? Anything? Wasting time now.
Okay. One quick thing. There's been a really weird situation involving a truck driver. Michael, you probably heard of this too. Tyler Dipple, and what's going on with him?
Yeah, I heard about that. And actually, last I heard, the charges against him were being dropped.
Yeah, okay, I see that now. Yeah, it has been dropped. Yeah, there was a possession of a controlled substance against Dipple. It has been dropped. He did make a statement. If you want me to just read it real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. From Tyler Dipple on Facebook. I would like to start by apologizing to my fans, Young's Motorsports, NASCAR, Gander Outdoors, our partners, and my family and friends for the grief the situation has caused. Due to an ongoing investigation, we have not been able to speak on the topic until today. On August 18th, while driving home from the Orange County Fair Speedway, I was pulled over for changing lanes without proper signal. The trooper asked my passenger and myself if we had been using drugs, and we responded with no, because we hadn't. The trooper continued to question us and then asked to search the vehicle, which I gave him my consent as I had nothing to hide. In the back of my truck was a friend's backpack who was not with us, containing his prescription medication. Because it was in my vehicle, I was charged with criminal possession of a controlled substance. Upon my appearance ticket, I contacted NASCAR within hours to inform them of the situation. Due to the NASCAR rulebook and code of conduct, they ruled to suspend me indefinitely. I respect their decision. Early this morning, at the town of Wallkill Court, the charges against me in this case were dismissed. We presented proof that the prescription was not mine, and the person that the prescription belonged to accepted responsibility for leaving my vehicle. I, along with my team, will work closely with NASCAR to hopefully be reinstated so I can be back in the Young's Motorsports number 02 Chevrolet. I take full responsibility for my actions. Thank you again to everyone who has supported me. I look forward to seeing everyone soon. Sincerely, Tyler Dipple. All right, so, interesting, because DJ Kennington actually had to drive his truck this past weekend because of this. So, obviously, I'm glad nothing got worse. Obviously, this seems like his friend apparently left his backpack that had prescription medication, and that's what caused the issue here. I'm certainly glad that nothing got worse here, and hopefully Tyler Dipple can go through the Road to Recovery program and be back on the track in no time.
Yeah.
So hopefully it all works out for him.
Hopefully it all works out for him. Yeah, I agree. I agree with Michael entirely. Hopefully it all works out for him. I mean, it doesn't sound like he was partaking. So hopefully it all works out. Was there not did I read on Twitter this morning or yesterday that there was a crew chief or a crew guy that got busted for drugs too on NASCAR?
Yeah, Matt Borland.
Matt Borland, yeah. Talk about that real quick. Does anybody know?
So, let me be sure I look this up correctly so I keep all the correct
looking it up right now too. So
Matt Borland. Okay, so from motorsport.com, I'll go ahead and read this off. Cup crew chief Matt Borland suspended indefinitely by NASCAR. Of course, he's the crew chief for Ty Dillon. In his 15-year career as a Cup Series crew chief, he has 13 wins, 39 poles, all with Ryan Newman. Justin Alexander will serve as the crew chief until Borland is back. Borland said he was informed over the weekend he tested positive in a recent NASCAR drug test for DMAA, which is a stimulant found in many weight loss and sports supplements, and it is on NASCAR's list of banned substances. Borland did say in a statement, after the surprise of this and not even knowing what that was, I asked if it could have come from a diet coffee I have been drinking for the past 6 months. I gave the doctor all the details of the coffee ingredients. After he researched it, he said he thought that this was the cause. Even after doing my due diligence, I felt comfortable in drinking the coffee. I plan to work with NASCAR to figure out what exactly has happened and resolve this issue as quickly as we can. I will cooperate with them and do whatever it is requested of me to make this situation right.
Yeah, just point this out there. That's the same substance that got Bailey Curry suspended at Bristol.
Yeah, Bailey Curry.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just pointing that out. You can go ahead.
Yeah, we're going on for a long time here, but this is kind of a fun conversation now. I don't care if people listen anymore or not, but whatever happened to Jeremy Mayfield?
Well, he's dirt racing now, actually. He's pretty much all cleaned up. He has a Twitter now.
Follow him.
Yeah, he's done a lot of dirt late model racing. Obviously, I think a lot of people would like to see him back.
He was a good driver. He was good. He drove for the Dodge team. I think he drove the 19 car.
Yep.
Yeah, and he was a good driver. Did well, won races. Yeah, but auto racing is the ones. in any sport. But auto racing is the one where you don't want to be under the influence of anything when you're in the pits making decisions or behind the wheel of a car. We all agree to that, correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't because you're doing things at such a rapid rate of speed that your reaction time gets slowed one way or another. And so I understand NASCAR's position in being extremely cautious in these situations, but I hope that there's a process involved where they can exonerate themselves and show that it wasn't, what it appears to be. If it is, it is. I mean, then you're done. That's what kicked Jerry Mayfield out of racing. I mean, here's a guy that he was a Dodge sponsored car in the 19 car, and he just screwed up. And you can't do that, not when you've got other drivers out there 2 inches away from you at that kind of speed, and you've got to be able to react and do things, and you can't be counted on to be reliable.
Right.
So
you're going 200 miles an hour out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not safe. So I understand where NASCAR comes from with it and why they take the harsh action they do. I just hope it's a pathway for exoneration. That's all I hope for. That they can either prove they did it or didn't do it, or they find that they did do it, and then you're done. Like I said, Mayfield vanished. I didn't know where he was. I hadn't heard his name mentioned in 5 years. So be it. All righty.
Actually, there was something. Actually, after the conversation, something that I thought about, and something that I feel like isn't talked about often in racing. So I'm just curious to see how this could go. As we know, last week at Bristol, there was an incident between two of the truck teams, between Friesen and Crafton.
Yeah.
And allegedly, a member of Crafton's team used homophobic slurs against the car of Friesen, which I'm not going to get into, just because, quite frankly, it was pretty disgusting. But after that, I noticed a couple of articles about drivers talking about their sexuality in racing. So basically, my question for you guys is, how would NASCAR handle it if, say, a major driver were to come out on that spectrum?
I mean,
what kind of slur? Repeat the word you said. Slurs. You said.
Yeah, they use
homophobic.
Supposedly use
homophobic.
Yeah.
Okay. Who gives a damn?
I mean, that's honestly how I think about it. Really, the way I see it, if somebody can come in and they can drive a car, I think they're going to have respect.
Yeah. I mean, trust me. I live 5 miles from West Hollywood, which is, it's West Hollywood. Let me just leave it. It's West Hollywood.
Yeah, we got you.
And and so it doesn't matter to me. Who cares? If you can drive a race car and you can drive it safely, who cares?
Yeah, and that's not to say that, everyone in the community is going to be really accepting. Obviously there's going to be some people who are kind of closed-minded to it, but, that's just really how it's going to be anywhere.
Well, I think if you do that, Michael, I think what you do is you take the sport back to a regional sport. I think you take, NASCAR or whatever back to a regional sport to where it's a protected community, small town, good old boy thing. I think you got to be open-minded. I mean, Tim Richmond died of AIDS, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. Now, I think he probably got it heterosexually, is what I'm guessing, but I don't know. I never asked that question, but I don't think that's relevant to anybody's ability to drive. That's my opinion. Alex, what's your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind if you are, if you come out, you're still, a NASCAR driver, you're still racing like everybody else. No biggie. That's fine with me. I wouldn't have a problem with it, So,
no problem at all.
Yeah, exactly. And, in this day and age, people are more and more accepting of it, too. People don't see that, but from what I've seen, we become...
And Michael, state your piece, but I think the thing is that we're more understanding of it, is what I think. We're more understanding of it. We understand preferences are different for everybody, and I spent 25 years being a manager at Pfizer, and I hired multiple people that were of different sexual preferences.
Yeah.
It does not affect the way they did their job. They were some of my best workers. They went out and busted their butt, and they're some of my best friends. And so it doesn't matter. It just doesn't.
Yeah, the way I see it, the way I see it, there's still people, and how does it affect anybody else? It's really the way they want to live. So how is that going to affect how they work or how they drive? And I know
it shouldn't.
Yeah, it shouldn't. And just to throw this out there too, is that there was, back in my karting days, there was this racer we raced against who was openly gay. Everybody knew it. It didn't seem to have any issues with anybody. Didn't really seem to be that big of a deal. He was friends with just about everyone there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, I had multiple people that worked for me that were of a different persuasion. And it's like they were fine. I mean, they were great people. They were beloved by our teammates. They were great workers. It doesn't change anything based on how you want to live your personal life. That's none of my business.
Yeah, exactly.
Is how I look at it. It's absolutely none of my business.
That's right.
And so I don't even sweat that, and I don't think that should even be an issue. And I hope NASCAR doesn't make it an issue, or any racing sport or any sport makes it an issue.
Yeah, that was just something curious I out there because
it's a great question.
Interesting I heard.
It's a great topic, yeah.
Yeah, and because something I heard is that apparently, actually, Bernie Ecclestone, the guy who runs Formula One, turns out he is openly against, any sort of LGBT right movement.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's why he lost F1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny too because I think a lot of people view Formula One as a more open-minded sport than NASCAR. Honestly, when it comes to that, I would say NASCAR is a lot more.
Europe's more open-minded than the United States is. First off, I mean, my mom was born and raised in Europe. I grew up in Germany before we moved back to Indiana. So they're just a lot more open-minded about everything over there than we are here. But we're getting there. The United States is getting there.
Absolutely.
We're working on it, and it's getting better. The movement, it does not matter to me whatsoever. And I don't know anything about Tim Richmond's sexual preferences, whatever he was. I don't know. I mean, you've read stories, but it doesn't matter to me. Tim Richmond was a great race car driver. That's all I care about. Yeah.
Yeah, it was one of the best.
The 25 Folgers car, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
No, he drives the 06 Wayne Peterson car.
Yeah, the ARCA driver.
The ARCA driver. There you go.
Yeah, it's funny. At Bristol, at Bristol, I was roaming the tents, and I actually found a small Tim Richmond diecast. I decided I'm bringing that to him the next race just to get him to sign it.
Do it.
There you go.
I'm not that Tim Richmond.
But it makes no difference at all.
Mm-hmm.
You either have the talent to drive a car or you don't have the talent to drive a car. I'd be more concerned about being in the front row with Kevin Cogan at Indianapolis than I would be Tim Richmond sitting next to me at a NASCAR race because I think Tim can handle himself. Kevin Cogan, I'm not so sure of that anybody can wreck a car on a pace lap. He and Roberto Guerrero both wrecked.
Yeah, and something interesting I remember is that on Race Hub, it turns out there actually has been one openly gay NASCAR driver named Steven Rhodes who ran a couple truck races. He said he never had any issues with anybody.
No.
Like I think he said he had an issue with one fan at one of his local short tracks, and that was about it.
Yeah, I remember Steven Rhodes.
Yeah, I'm actually friends with him on Facebook. I'm actually talking with him a lot. He's a pretty cool guy. So.
Oh wow, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know how many times I've called Chase Elliott gay? Gay driver, get your damn ass up there in front and pass the car. and that's not appropriate either, so I'm joking there too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's one thing to joke about it,
Yeah, but no, there's no issue.
I joke about everybody.
Yeah, if you can't laugh at yourself, you can't laugh at anybody else.
Exactly.
It's kind of how I feel. So, but no, that should not ever be an issue in any sport. I mean, who was it? Jackie Smith was the tight end for Atlanta. Who was the tight end for Atlanta that is going into the Hall of Fame?
I really don't remember. I'm honestly not a huge NFL fan.
NFL fan, yeah. Alex, do you know?
Yeah. I'm not sure. I know a couple. I know there's Tony Gonzalez, Alvin Crumpler.
It's Tony Gonzalez. It was Tony Gonzalez. Yeah, he was gay, wasn't he?
I certainly didn't know about that.
Yeah, I wouldn't know.
Yeah,
first time ever hearing of him.
I thought he was, but I don't want to. We're on the air, so I don't want to quote that.
Yeah, I don't.
That he was or not. So I don't know. So, but there was. Yeah, never mind. It doesn't matter. Hell, just go racing, boys. Get after it. Rub wheels. Knock tires off.
As soon as you're on track, all anybody is a racer.
Yeah.
Right. That's all you are. Alex, get us the hell out of here before we get ourselves in trouble.
All right. Yeah. Plus, I gotta get to work. Anyway, thank you guys so much for listening to this extremely fun episode of the NASCAR show here on the Grilling Truth. Michael, thank you so much for coming on. Best of luck to you in Indianapolis next week.
Yeah, great luck, Michael. We'll be looking for reports from you. Send us text messages if you can, and then we'll have you on whenever we can get you back on and have us debrief what you did and talk about how your sponsorship held up and everything you did and everything like that.
All right.
All righty. Thank you guys so much, and we will see you next time.